Hi everybody, this is Kevin from Texas Yard Man and More, and today I'm featuring a video on the repair of my Predator 3500 inverter generator that I use for my RV primarily. The handle broke off of the pole starter, and so I've got to take this thing apart and show you how to repair it. I've been out on YouTube and I've not seen too many videos that touch on this. There are some videos where it talks about taking it apart, but none on the repair of the starter rope. So I'm doing one today. Hopefully this video will help you. I wanted to point out some of the features on this generator. I've bought this back in 2020, so I've had it about 3 years now. This has been an outstanding generator. It's sold at Harbor Freight Tools, and I've had it for 3 years in operation, and I've put countless hours on this. One of the things I'm going to recommend you always do is change the oil frequently, and it even tells you to do that. This thing puts out about 3,000 watts, 3,500 max, and there's a lot of stickers on here that kind of give you some pointers, but this tag on the back here shows you the manufacturer date, and it also shows you what type of oil to use. This is 10W30. I use the synthetic and it works really well. On the back side here, this is the back of the generator. I've ran into some problems where it wouldn't start, so I removed the spark arrestor, and it runs great. I've had no problems with it. So if you get your generator where it just stops working, remove the spark arrestor at your discretion. As long as it's not, it's there to prevent fires, fire shooting out the back. But I live out in a grassy area where I use this, and I just kind of make sure that the area is clear, that no sparks can get to any of the dry grass. But as soon as I remove that spark arrestor, I've not had any issues with it. So basically it's a screen filter that's held on by 2 screws, and it gets gunked up with carbon deposits from the exhaust, and that prevents it from running. Let's go around to this side. As you can see, I have just a simple folding collapsible table, and I've got 2 4x4s underneath it holding it, elevating it, I guess, holding it up. And I've got my tools over here ready to go, and here's the front of the generator. Here's the adapter plug for my RV. I just leave that on there, and it's got different features on here, but you've got some outlets here if you need to plug in power appliances like saws and drills and stuff like that. You can run lamps off of this, but I have the model that has the fuel level gauge that's horizontal. I guess I've seen some other videos where they've come out with different models where it's vertical instead. And then also on here you have your instructions on starting the generator. So a lot of people just overlook these and they don't really pay attention. Make sure you read these. And it says to change the oil, frequently every 8 hours. I don't do it 8 hours. I just let it run until the oil gets to become real black, and then I change it out. I don't think you need to do it every 8 hours. You need to check it at least, but there's the front. Here's your wheel lock down here. I'm going to come around to the other side. Let's go to the back. Here's the other side. This is where you would take the side cover off. This is how you check your oil. There's a dipstick on here, and you can see down in there, that's where you unscrew this, and it has a dipstick on the end, and then the drain plug is right below it. And then you just simply take out that bolt and the oil will start draining. What I like to use is a little cookie sheet. It fits perfectly underneath the generator and the oil just drips right onto the cookie sheet, and it's approximately 20 ounces of oil, so it's not going to overflow. Just make sure that you got a high enough edge on that cookie sheet. Just take one from Mom. She'll love you for it, or your wife. But that's the access panel for that. We're going to come around here, and on this side behind this access panel is your starter, your solenoid, and then we have to access the recoil, the starters in the front here. So I'm going to put the camera in the tripod, and I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. What we need to do first is we need to take the wheels off on this side, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So you got your wheels, and there's a dust cap here. You just simply take a screwdriver and you pry into this. And the cap's got 3 little prongs on it, and they just clip in there, and then underneath it you have a cotter pin. We're just simply going to take that cotter pin out. Don't lose your parts. Here's your little cotter pin, and you can take the washer off. Then you can remove the wheel. And what I like to do is I have some little plastic cups over here that I keep my parts in so you don't lose them. And we got that one, and then we're going to go over here and do this one. You can also use a little needle nose pliers to take these cotter pins out. Oh, this one's going to fight me a little bit. Oh, there it goes. And take your washer off, and then your wheel. So we got those off. Next thing we got to do is up on top here, I want to make sure that you'll see 2 little rubber caps. You're going to remove those with like your screwdriver. That reveals the screw underneath. And don't lose these caps. And then it's a Phillips screwdriver, number 2. Take these screws out. Don't lose them. Okay. Get some more of these little cups. Put our parts in them. And then down on the bottom here you got 3 10mm hex heads. You just simply get a ratchet, break them loose. I know some people like to use drills. I do if I need to get something put on there real fast, but typically I like to take things off by hand because I can feel better that way, especially when you're tightening. So there's your screw. It's got like a little collar on it. And then we'll take out number 3. There's the 3rd one. Save that in a cup. Okay, and then let's check this back side over here. Looks like we got some screws on the back side. I'm going to move the camera over so you can see it. The back panel right here. We're just going to remove this back panel off. And I have not done this before, so you are seeing it live as I do it. A lot of it is just common sense, where you can see where things have to be taken apart in order to take something off. And then that panel should come off. So you got to look on the back side here as well as the front. We're going to go to the front next. There's the back panel. You got your foam in here, and this will get up really cleaned up, and we'll put it all back together. This is where the spark arrestor was mounted that I took off, and then you can see the panel's already loose here. Now we just have to loosen it from the front. So let's come over here, move my camera, and then I can see that we have a screw here. All these screws serve as a double purpose for this panel and this panel, so that's why you got to remove these. They haven't made them independent. And then I see a screw here. Let's take off this access panel. This is for where the battery is. So when your generator is running, it's charging the battery. So here's your access cover for that. And I'm going to put these screws there. Now, there. So it looks like it was just those two screws. Now we're going to go ahead and take this cover off. And it comes right off. Since the pull rope broke, if it was still connected, you would not be able to take this. You would have to lay it up on top like this. But since the rope is broke, we're going to go ahead and just remove this. And then you can get access into your side panel there. And I'll bring you in here where you can see it. You can see all that dirt in there. So this is your starter right here. And you got your solenoid right here. And then there's an electronic, I think they call this the CDI, down in here. It works for the starter. And then you can see all the dirt and stuff in here. We're going to vacuum that out and clean all this. Here's some cobwebs up in here. But the part we're trying to get to is right in here. That's where the starter coil is, the manual starter. And it looks like I'm going to have to probably take the front off to access it, because there's screws in here to where I might even have to take off this plate right here to gain access. But I'm going to come back once I see about taking this front off, the control panel. Let me just zoom out so you can see it better. And I'm going to go ahead and take off this panel right here. Like I said, this is in real time. We're just figuring it out as we go. There's two screws down here. Keep your screws together. that one. Okay. And even though those screws are out, something's holding it on there, and I have a suspicion that it's these 4 screws in here. Actually, it's 6. Let's take these out. Got to get another cup. Take this one off. It's like you're thinking to yourself, I have to do all this work just to replace a pull rope. Sometimes they design things where they're difficult. So I suspect this knob needs to come out. There's a screw inside of there to take this knob off. Take that screw out, and the knob comes out, and then there's your access panel, and it allows you access behind it. And something else is holding this on, probably these screws right in here. So we're going to have to take those off. I'm going to take these screws and move them. We'll remove this. And we're not really going to touch any of these wires. These wires don't need to be unplugged as far as I can see. So that removes that. So that's loose. Now, I do see another bolt back here that it's looks like it's holding the casing on. Seems like it wants to come out a little bit down here. Let me just try on this. Okay, and it's probably that it's going to take an Allen wrench. So I'm going to grab an Allen wrench. And you got to find the right one. There we go. And we're going to see if that makes a difference. Yes, it does. This is loose, but it feels like there's, there we go. I just kind of wiggled it back and forth, and now I'm going to come around here and look. And I can see it gave us more room back here. but I think I'm going to have to, there's some wires over here on the side that I'm going to have to snip. We're going to come around here to the side. So there's electrical wires here. We're just going to have to snip this plastic tie down. And then it's looking like, in order to get back over here, probably should take the battery out too. The battery is right here. You just pull down and this battery comes out like so. And there's rubber boots on here. Oh, we got some corrosion. So since we're in here, we're going to do a little maintenance as well. Here's your battery. And it looks like that terminal's got some buildup on there. Let's see if it takes a screwdriver. It takes a Phillips. And Phillips is not getting it enough, so I'm going to use a socket on there. Got to find the right size socket. There we are. And we're just gonna break that loose. That was on there pretty tight. Okay, that screw comes out. And by the way, that socket is a 5/16. And then we got to do the same to this side. That one is not corroded. That's the positive. Positive is red, negative is black. Okay, that came off. Now your battery's out. You can see all that corrosion in there. You want to make sure you clean that up with some baking soda and a toothbrush before you put it back in. I haven't had any problems with the battery, so that is out. Now it affords me the opportunity to look down in here and I can see the front of the pole starter. And let's see here. And there is something else behind here. It looks like it's part of the engine where it cools the engine. It's got fins on it. Adjusted the screen for you. So it looks like I've got 1, 2, I think there's about 5 screws in here for the pull rope housing, and that mounts to the engine. So I'm gonna have to take this apart even further to gain access from this side, and we might even have to take off the other side of the engine. So we're gonna come around to the other side pick the camera up here so you can see down in there. So we're going to have to take off these wheels and this side as well. So we're getting a full-blown workout today. And you'll see some notches in here in these wheels. There's 3 of them. That's where you want to put your little screwdriver in there. And that pops these right out. Then the wheel comes right off. Then we'll do the same over here. So here's the notch. Put your screwdriver in there and gently pry these out. You don't want these to break. Pull your cotter pin out, pull your washer. The wheel comes right off. And make note that there's 2 different sides of these wheels. So you want to make sure this is to the outside. Okay, and like the other side, we have a screw here, screws up here. We got to take these rubber caps off. Make sure you save those. Put your screws, take these off. They certainly didn't make this easy. And you got one that you can't grip with your fingers, just use that. And then take your gas cap. There's a rubber collar here that you want to Okay, we got our screws here. Wants to fight me. Anybody that does mechanical work knows that when you're working on stuff, there's stuff that just wants to fight you. Don't lose them though. Okay. These are just rubber pieces here that snap in. And then same thing down here. There's 10mm screws. And I've got to find my ratchet. Go around to this side. The other good thing about videotaping this is you can always go back and look at your video in case you're trying to figure out where some screws go or a part, or how it looked like before you took it apart. It's always good to take pictures or do a video. Now we're all able to use YouTube. Back in the day, you used to have to use just regular cameras to do this. Okay, I think this will come off now. So we got these. And it looks like you always want to pull out carefully because it looks like there's something attached back here on the back side. And got to figure out what's going on with that. Some kind of a hose. Looks like it's an emission hose of some sort, possibly, or fuel. See if I can bring you in to show you. Back in there you'll see a hose that's attached to this plastic cover. I've got to try to get that off. I'm debating on whether to snip it. There's a clip over here that you can pinch and remove that hose. Rather than snipping the plastic harness, you can just pull this hose off, hopefully. I think that's something that you do with the charcoal canister for emissions. I don't know. We'll come around here so you can see now. So here's the hose, and I removed this clamp, and so now it's attached here, so I may just try to slide this hose out from underneath that. We'll zoom in here. Take this clip off and see if I can slide that hose. There. This is still on there, but there's the cover. Okay, we're going to come around here, and that taking this cover off did help. I can actually get back in here now. I can see one of the screws here and one of the mounting screws up in here from this side, and I can take these out. They're right here. See if I can get in there so I can show you. They're chrome plated hex head bolts, or nuts I should say, and they actually hold the manual starter recoil in place. There's one here and there's one up on the top here. So I'm going to try to get those out. And they are also 5/16 sockets to get those off. So okay, I'm going to zoom back out. And we're going to come around to this side because I'm going to start on this side. And as I mentioned before, I am going to take off this bracket because it's in my way. This bracket here, all it is a mounting bracket so you can screw into, put your cover on. Other than that, it doesn't really serve any other purpose. So I got these broke loose, backing these screws out. And there, the bracket's off. Now I have better access in here. Do not lose your screws. Now I have access to this. So now I am gonna have to, I can't get really a socket in there, so I'm gonna have to use a wrench, open-ended wrench. So I've got to get one out of my drawer. So here's a open-ended wrench. Put it right on there. Break these loose. And there's your screws, and you can see they're probably nickel coated. Put all these in there, and we got to go down and find the one on the bottom. There we go. Got to have somebody with real long, skinny fingers to take these screws out. Sometimes the hands of a child work pretty good. Or your wife, she's got small hands. There we go, got it out. Now, this side looks good. Might be able to get this one from this side. And if you have these in a long handle, even better. I've been collecting tools for many, many years, and I still don't have all the tools that a person should have. You just collect them over the course of your lifetime. And in case you're wondering, this is your gas tank right here. Holds about 2.5 gallons. And it runs about 11 hours, 12 hours. Some people like to modify them or whatever, their engines. I don't do that. Let's see here. I'm going to try using a longer handled ratchet if it'll let me. It doesn't, of course. And because I loosened up the front panel, I'm able to get a little more room in there. Which I'm hoping that affords me the opportunity to break this. It's fighting me. We're almost there. Let's go around to the other side and see if I can get to it from there. So here's where we're trying to get to. Sorry about the camera work. There's that one. A little better view. Okay. I really need a long handled one of these, but I'm gonna try to make do with what I've got. There we go. A little cheater pipe would work good. To help break it loose. Let's see if I can. Oh, I could hear it break a little bit. That's good. Tightly confined spaces. Oh, gotta keep going. They make it look so easy when they build them in the plant, but they don't take into account when they have to do, people have to do maintenance on them. And one of the benefits of where the engine's facing the different direction is you can get to the manual pull start easier. But the way this engine is in there, kind of like your car engine would be, like forward and back, it's facing up towards the front. I'm going to pause the video here and then I'm going to get these two screws out. Okay, I'm back. I got the 4 screws out that hold the pull starter in place. And now I've tried to pull the pull starter off and there's a bar blocking it in here, so I'm gonna have to take that bar off. Let's see if I can come around. So there's the pull starter in there. You can see it. It's trying to come off, but there's not enough clearance for it to pull out, so I'm gonna have to take this bar off in here. And there's some screws down here on this side bracket that I'm gonna have to take off. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those off and then see if I can get this to come forward that way so that I can pull off this part right here. See, it comes out, but it's not making clearance. So I've got to take this bar off that's blocking it. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I got the 2 screws out. There was one here anchored to this aluminum frame, and then there's another one on the exact same side, on the opposite side. And then I managed to get the manual pull starter out. So this, in case you're wondering, is held on by 4 screws, 1 in each corner. And this is where your rope comes through. And that's the part that broke off, was the rope. So now I'm going to remove that bolt and restring this, and we're going to put this back in. So I'm going to end the video here and then we'll come back. Thank you. So here we are. We have the drawstring pulled out, and you can see, or I should say the pull string, you can see where it frayed off. And I've got a new one here that I bought off of Amazon, and I'm going to take this nut off. And you can use a socket, or you can use a adjustable wrench. And I know these things can be tricky. Let's see. see it spinning here. And I see some notches in here. And as you tighten them, they hit up against this. So let's see if we can take this all the way up. And if you don't want to restring it yourself, I think they sell these whole, you can get this whole thing already restrung on Amazon as well. And that's what it looks like on the inside. There's a little spring on here. Here's a screw. And then it looks like you got some washers. And then, let's see if this pulls out. This comes out. Here's the washer. We'll just leave that as is, and then I'm just going to unwind it. And this is it. It's already at the end. And then here's the knot. And if you're looking for a, I don't know if this is a part number, but it's 200804Z as in zebra on the sticker. And then on here it says PA6-GF30. So we're going to go ahead and just pull this out. So the string is out. And it's approximately 3.2 millimeters. And then I've got, but this one actually seems a little bit thicker, but I'm going to go ahead and use this anyhow. This is supposed to be pretty strong cord, and what you simply want to do is just kind of measure it out. The first thing I'm going to do is tie a knot, a couple knots. So there's a good knot right there. You want to pull it tight, and then you're going to want to kind of feel it out, test it in here, see if that is going to hold. Just pull it all the way through. And that looks like it's going to work good. And then you want to measure it and make sure it's the same length as the one that was in there. And then you also have to account for the part that broke off. So you just do it like that, side by side, and then I'm going to give myself a little extra to make a knot, and then we're just simply going to cut it off right here. And got my knife. There we go. There's the extra. And then you got to make sure the old stuff goes there. And then we got to wrap it. And then you can see a spring down there in the bottom. And we're going to put this right back on. But we got to make sure that the string is fed through. Just put it right back into the housing. And then we've got our spring down here. And here's the tricky part. Well, I just heard something. And you want to make sure that the bar and the notch on here is lined up. So we're going to test this. As I said, I am doing this live. Not had to do this before on this particular unit. Whoop. Gotta back this off a little bit. There we go. Okay, so the bar is in the notched area. You can see it retracts as you pull on it. And we can take up give it some pulls, make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get our handle and you're going to want to make sure it's all the way. Go ahead and tie a knot, a couple knots so it doesn't slip through. There we are. Make sure it's tight. And then you got the slack here, so you want to tighten that. And that it's restrung. And then when you put it on back onto this flywheel, it's going to engage right here. So what's going to happen is when you pull on this, if you notice, when you pull on this, those metal bars come out. See these bars on the side? Watch those when I pull. They come out. And then what those do is those engage this flywheel right here. You'll see this flywheel my hands are on, it has notches or holes in it, and that's where those you know, when I was showing you on the pull handle, they'll come out and engage this and lock, and then it grips this so you can turn the flywheel. And I'll show you that feature again. So here's where it contacts it, it grips it, engages it, I think that's the word. And then you've got your pull starter. Watch it again, watch these two things that come out. So every time you pull on this, those pieces expand out. Then make sure you wind this back up. And then when you put it on, you want this to be tight. So now I'm going to go ahead and reinstall it. Just do everything in reverse order. And then I'll be back. And one of the things I wanted to show you is before you tie this on permanently, you have to take this back off. I just put it on there so I could show you it pull back and forth and what, you know, show you the action on it. But you have to take this back off because when you put this back on, it has to be fed through the side cover here. You have to pull this string through here and tie it from this side, not from the internal side. So go ahead and just leave it like this. Go ahead and install this, and then once you get this side cover back on, when it's time to go back on, then you pull, the string needs to be pulled through here, and then you tie it on to the actual handle. So I wanted to point that out. Okay, we're back. I've got the 4 screws in that hold in the manual pull starter, the rope starter. And I'm on the side where you check the oil and drain the oil from. And so I just saw some, the anatomy of the engine is right here. This is your carburetor, and these are your drain lines here, your fuel drain lines. They go down to the bottom and then they just drain out onto the ground. I'm not sure, I guess that's when you drain your float bowl here. And also on this side is your spark plug. So if you have to change your spark plug, you would just simply take off the boot and swap out your spark plug. And you could also check your oil level while you're in here. Since you've got everything torn apart, I figured this would just be good to show you, you know, now that the sides are off, and in case anybody's wondering, that's this is the side. Here's the overhead valve. This is where the piston head comes up, and the exhaust valve escapes this way through this tube into your air cleaner. This is your air cleaner, and you simply undo your air cleaner down here at the bottom, and then this pulls out, and then you can simply take out your air cleaner filter here. And it's always good to clean this up since you're in here doing maintenance anyhow. Just use some soap and water on this. This one's really filthy. I've never done it. So that's 3 years worth of grime. You can see it's picked up sand particles and a lot of exhaust residue on this. So this comes off of your carburetor. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up since I'm in here. But I've got the manual pull starter in, and then I'm going to come back and show you, you know, the stuff that when I'm putting everything back together. So just wanted to show you that. Be back. And I wanted to take this time just to show you how filthy it is inside of this chassis. Since you got all the panels off, this is a good time to clean it up. Use your shop vac to get all this grass and dirt out of here, out of the bottom, and wipe down all the grime. I use Simple Green cleaner. It's a degreaser. It's biodegradable. It doesn't hurt the environment. So it's a really good cleaner. I've been using it for years, but I'm going to go ahead and wipe everything down before I put all the panels back together. And we're going to do this side as well. This is the side with the pull rope. As you noticed, I left about oh, I don't know, 10 inches or so of rope here, so I could feed it through the panel, and then I'll tie a knot right here with the handle on it. And you want to make sure that when you put the starter back on, just give it some pulls to make sure that it is engaging with the flywheel of the engine and that it is doing what it's supposed to do. If it's not, then you're going to have to take it back off and figure out why. But this one's engaging, so I've got some extra rope here, and I'll just trim that off with my pocket knife. Just take what you need, but it's got to be on the outside of the panel, so that leaves me about that much. And then you got to tie a knot as well, so that's going to take some of the rope. But so this is the starter side. Here's your starter. Your battery's down here, and then this is your electrical for the battery to get to the starter. Here's your solenoid, and then this is your CDI, which is really gunked up. This is like your part of the electrics or electronics for your starter. So you want to make sure that that's cleaned up. It's got dirt all over it. It's this is a capacitor here, just by looking at it. So that's down here on the bottom. Looks like a capacitor. I don't know if for certain it is, but we're going to clean all that up, get all that dirt out of here. I'm going to get my shop vac out. So take this time to do maintenance on it since you have it all apart. We'll be back. Okay, we're back on the pull side here, and I wanted to make a note here because as I was putting this back together, there's a screw here that you have to take off that loosens this black plate back here that allows you to get this out. So there's a bolt on this side, and then if you come around to this side, there's another one back here that anchors to the inside here that is also part of that same plate. And one of the things I had to do is it would not line up when I tried to put the nut back on, or the screw, and so I ended up having to drill the bracket out with a next higher drill bit to give me the freedom and flexibility to put that screw back in. So if you run into that problem, that's what I did to get it back on. Be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I'm assembling the Predator back to its original condition. And one of the things I wanted to point out is if you're doing this repair, you want to put it back together in a certain sequence. You want to do the oil fill side first, and then the back is not on yet because we can do that last. And then I'm on the pull side here with the rope, and then I just put the front back on, so that is step 2. And then I've got my battery. I got to put that back in. It's right here. And I have not put the wheels back on, and I have not put the screws into the top yet. So the next step is I've got my rope here, and there's this eyelet right here on this bracket that I had to take off. You want to feed the rope through that, and then you want to get your cover. You want to get your cover here, and when you put the cover on, you want to feed this rope through it. So go ahead and make sure you put this rope through it, and that it is going through the bracket hole eyelet, and then you should see it like that. And I'm going to go ahead and put this cover back on, and it's basically the same way you took it apart. There's 3 screws on the bottom, there's 2 screws on the top, and then you've got screws back here that are for the back plate, and then you've got a screw here in the front, and that is it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this cover back on, and I'll be right back. And here we are. I've got all the panels back on, and I've got the pull rope here that I'm getting ready to tie the handle on. Everything's back in place like it should be. I still have to put the knob back on for the starter. It's just a screw right there that screws in. and I wanted to show you how to put the new handle on the new string. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. I'm going to put this in my tripod so you guys, my hands will be free. So super easy. Be right back. And here we are. Got my pull start handle, and I've got my vice grips on there so it doesn't pull back through, but you just basically feed it through, and then you got to be very careful here when you release the vice grips. And what you want to do is pull some of this string out to make sure it's taut, and then you simply want to tie a knot here. And you're going to want a big knot, not a small knot, so that it does not slip through. And I'm going to do three ties here, just to play it safe. And you always want to pull tight on this. Make sure it's nice and tight, and that is in there perfectly. It's not going to go through, and the handle retracts, so you want to give it a pull, and I can feel it engaging the flywheel in there, and you want to pull it a couple times, and it is working nicely. And you can go ahead and trim off this remaining just cut it off with a pair of scissors or a razor blade. You want to give it a quick, you can even burn it a little bit with a lighter just to make sure it fuses. But that is how you do it. All in all, I've still got to put on the wheels. I'm going to go ahead and put some grease on each of these shafts where the wheels go. And you could even use WD-40. I think grease lasts longer. But basically, we just put these back on the same way that we took them off. And this one, the difference with this one is it has a brake. That goes to the inside. That's so you can lock the wheels so that the generator doesn't go rolling around or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and we got our hardware. Put your washer on, then you put your cotter pin, there's your cotter pin, then you put your cap back on, and you line these 3 prongs up to the 3 holes that are in there, and you snap it in. There you have it. So all in all, this was I wouldn't rate this as an easy job, but it's not terribly hard to do if you know a little bit of mechanics. You got a few simple tools like screwdrivers, ratchet sets, vice grips, needle nose, pliers. The one thing I would highly recommend for this particular project would be a long-handled 5/16 inch open-end box-end wrench. So it's the combination open end on one end and then a box end on the other. That would definitely make the job easier. I made do with what I had. This generator is a really good generator. I would definitely buy another one. I'm going to keep doing basic maintenance on it, and hopefully I can get a good number of years out of this. I've not had any issues as long as you run fresh gas, and you don't want to use gas that's been sitting for 3 months in your storage shed or what have you. You always want to use fresh gas, and make sure you clean the air cleaner. And I still have not done the spark plug yet, because it's firing fine. When we come to that point, I'll just take off this other side, and that's super easy. And then you just replace the spark plug on it. I've still got to put this knob on, which is a simple screw. There's a shaft in there, just like that. Here's the screw, and let me just use my screwdriver, Phillips, and it's in there. There we go. I can feel it. There we go. And that's your off, start, and then run. And good little generator. I would definitely recommend this. If you got anything out of this video, please give me a thumbs up. Like and subscribe to my channel. I do put out lots of different content. This one was definitely one that I wanted to put out there because I don't see any videos on this, so hopefully this helps somebody. You do have to take it apart, but anyone can do it. Probably a medium job, I would call it. So please like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell in the upper right hand corner. Once again, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting my channel, and you all have a great day. Take care.